Distinguished adventurers, welcome to this week's Sketching Hour. I am your host, Lauren, here with two people who have decided to leave behind the 2D life and join us in the 3D world. That's right, Alexis and Michelle are here and on camera, and we're excited to have them. Michelle, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Michelle Papadopoulos. I'm one of the artists on Untitled Champions, and I can wave to you today. Hi.
And Alexis, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm the art lead for Idle Champions, and yay, hands!
Exactly. We decided to give this a try, and so you'll have to excuse our artists if, while they are hard at work, if all you see is a little bit of the side of the face and everything. But you're going to get to still see the canvas and everything that they're drawing. But we thought it'd be fun to have our faces, all of us, together on screen. So yay! Yeah. Also now, bonus, when we roll for our rolling tables, all of us can show off our dice, which I'm excited about. Yay! So for those of you who are new to the show, this is a show in where Alexis and Michelle will be taking the things that we're going to be rolling on the rolling tables that you can see right over there and crafting characters live in front of our Twitch chat while I work with that chat to come up with backstories for those creatures and names and why a wizard did not do it. So, but first, we have to do some rolling. So, I believe I've got monsters, Alexis has adjectives, and Michelle has cute animals. And we'll go ahead and show off our dice. I've got my classic silver that Luke gave me a while ago.
Mine's red with sparkles.
Yeah, and mine Alexis gave me. It's my sparkly unicorn one.
All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Ooh. So I got a natural 20, which means it's the Modron time. What do we get for adjectives?
9 for wooden.
Ooh, I think we're getting steampunky with these Modrons. And what's our cute animal?
8, owl.
Oh.
All right, this is going to be adorable. All right, I love it. Let's go.
What was the first one? The monster?
Modron.
Okay.
So we've got mechanical beings from Mechanus, wood, and an owl. I mean, immediately I'm thinking of, what was the name of that mechanical owl that was in the old... I've lost all names. That's okay. I'm picturing this really cute mechanical owl from an old movie that had all the stop motion animation, and I can't think of names of anything. Bubo! Yes! The Clockwork Owls from Clash of the Titans. I love it. I love them so much.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
All right.
It took a second.
I didn't think I was like, wait a second. I can picture this owl in my head. For someone whose job it is to talk on stream a lot. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of feedback on syncing issues and things going on, and so you'll have to excuse me if I'm looking in a bunch of different directions. But before I get distracted again by everything, the artists are going to be using a program called Magma Studios, which is how we can see their art and we can watch as they do their expert drawing. Also, we have Martin in our chat today as our moderator and producer. Martin is not only doing awesome stuff by helping out with chat, but is grabbing questions for our artists, for me, about the game, about art, about anything really, and grabbing them to put them in a backstage document so that we can, we don't miss anything, because I'm looking at a lot of things and sometimes it is hard for me to keep up. So thank you, Martin. If you do put a question in chat, put question in big capital letters so that we can easily see it. Also, if you're looking for captions, we should have our captions up. If you just hover over the screen, they are live and you can see them working. And move them around and do fun stuff. Frames is not okay. I'm looking at sync stuff going on. There's a surprising amount of technology going on behind the scenes for this stream for a variety of reasons, and we're testing a few other things out that hopefully nobody should notice any differences. And now that you've had a chance to do a little bit of drawing, how do both of you feel knowing that we're watching your faces?
Strangely alert.
But both of you got into the drawing right away, so I love
can't even really tell. Like, I just see in the corner of my eye, I could see myself on the video, and I'm like, oh, people are actually seeing this. It's fine.
Yeah, everything is fine.
It's all fine. Everybody's saying that they love watching you on the screen, that they're happy to see you, so,
Good.
Yeah. I love also that the both of you went for the classic, was it the monodrone, which is the one with the 2 legs and the little wings? And
Yeah, I think so.
It's just so cute.
that is pretty adorable. For those that are wondering what happened on last week's sketching hour, we had aquatic hedgehog gibbering mouthers.
That was a really fun one.
Yeah, that
For
was
being
such a weird.
for being such a weird prompt, it was like, whoa.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot of mouths, but it was impressive. So yes, that was our last week's prompt. This week, I think we're gonna end up with something slightly more cute right away. But we'll see. Yeah, the Canuck Monkey 13 says, "Oh yeah, those handsome chaps." Yes, these big boys right here. I still love the little tongue blurp going on with the one on the left. It's adorable. But let's come back here and let me check in with chat and see. Oh yeah, everybody's just all excited about being able to see you, and you're getting waved too. I love how we're just giddy over this. It's amazing. Okay. The Lurking Writer wants to know, could we possibly get a Tiawat emote for chat to go with the sketching hour emote?
It'd be amazing.
Do either of you think you could reduce Tiawat to the size of an emote for chat? Is that a possibility?
That would be very difficult.
Yeah, it'd be very, very small.
Like 1 pixel per head.
It would have to be 5 different emotes, each one a head.
Or maybe we could just do like the hair, the one with the hair, and then like the lemur one. I think those are, just 2.
Those were the 2 that everybody kind of gravitated towards.
I
So
think so.
Absolutely. I think hairs and smiles make everybody happy. Let's see. Catch 23. I need to hear B Dave do a kawa hedgehog as a verbal spell component. Oh, aqua hedgehog. Okay. So, wonderful human being, an amazing DM, B Dave Walters, who is the DM of not the sketching hour. No, he could DM the sketching hour anytime he wants. He is the DM for Idle Champions Presents The Trials of Mount Tiamat. He also is on several other shows, including Champions of Lore of ours, and he likes to joke that any of our chest codes are just the verbal components for spells. Because obviously it's aqua hedgehog is what I got up there, but if you don't say it like it's supposed to be pronounced, it's aqua hedgehog.
It definitely sounds like a spell.
Especially when we get the codes that are randomly generated, they can be very much a good bata. There you go. That's it. All right. Catch 23. Can we get a stream of B Dave reading off a list of all of the recent chess codes, actually? Yes, him like in a smoking jacket with a little pipe and a book, but the book is just a whole bunch of codes and just him dramatically reading off chest codes. I'm sure that would be funny for a little while. And then it would just be interesting. Daza287 question, any thoughts on giving Hitch and others skins? hashtag love for Hitch. Oh, we have a Hitch fan in the audience. Yay. I mean, we can't talk about any skins that haven't been announced just yet, but, you know, if you are a fan of Hitch, and I know I am, then maybe you have some suggestions that you can pass along for things you'd like to see, but yeah.
So I think right now he just has one skin, right? And it's an old one. I'm not sure where it's available.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up. I'm sure someone will give me that information. Garwar's in chat. Garwar's probably got a guide for that. For all of those skins. Yeah. Let's see. Lurking Writer, new show idea, Lauren, you three with B Dave DMing, except all the encounters are the animals from the sketching hour.
I'm not sure if I want to battle my own creations.
I was about to say, if you knew that what you were drawing was something you would have to battle in a D&D game, would that affect your drawing?
Just make them all tiny so that they're like less of a threat.
Yeah.
The moment where I ask for a banana for scale, the banana comes over and it's just the size of the canvas.
Yeah.
I mean, I have talked a little bit about taking inspiration from some of the monsters that you've created to use in my D&D games. I haven't used something exactly yet, but that would be an interesting DM challenge of, okay, here's the sketching hour, and then these are the creatures that a DM has to use in a game that they're going to play right now. Go. That could be an interesting duo game.
Yeah.
And Colin Rollins wants to know, is there an eventual intention for all champs to have skins? I don't know if all of them will have skins, but we end up with skins on our champions for bunches of different reasons. Like right now, a lot of the champions that are showing up in Idle Champions Presents the Trials of Mount Tiamat, I have to say the whole title in order to get it all out. But a lot of them are getting skins because they've got the Ascendant skins. Do either of you ever have an idea for a skin that you just think would be fun for a champion, or is it always something that's proposed as a thing that's happening because of a promotion?
I don't know. I've never had really any ideas because I'm just kind of working on what we have to get done for the game already. So I don't really think, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've come up with any of the skins on my own. I don't think I have, but I do think it would be fun for the artist just to have a day to do whatever. Make a skin, just pick a character you like and do something cool for them. I think we'd end up with a lot of really neat stuff, but
sure,
production schedule permitting, of course.
Yeah, that's always a hard thing to balance, is the needs of the production versus the desires of the people who are involved in it. So, Counting Coup, I appreciate all the B-Dave love, because he is an awesome individual, and we all think that he is amazing. I'm not sure why everybody is talking about him in the chat. Did he show up on Mars's show? Is that what happened? Was he a surprise guest on Mars's show? Counting Coup says, I want B-Dave to read source books for going to sleep. Aw. I mean, at that point, just ask B-Dave to read Goodnight Moon. Goodnight Moon. Goodnight Moon. Goodnight Cow, jumping over the moon. Goodnight Modron. Owl. Wooden owl Modron creature. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't change the title of the show. I got so excited about our artist being on camera.
I'm wondering if this is the start of a CNE bedtime story stream.
Ooh. Well, we did for a while have that. I've forgotten the name of the show, but Christina Ariel and Mark Muir were on it, and they were doing improvised champions, and they would do literally commentary on what was going on, and they would read the story in character which I always thought was super cool. Probably not bedtime story-ish, but a lot of fun. All right, so let's change this title. Wooden Owl Modrons?
Yeah,
so.
that
Yeah.
sounds good.
Modrons, Modrons. Wooden Owl Modrons. There we go. Aw. I love it. Cassius335 says, the statting hour. Someone statting up a sketching hour creature would be a fun stream. That could be fun to see. Colin Rollins says, interesting to see the different process of the two artists, one building up the color versus the detail. So yeah, that's something that we actually haven't talked about. I guess let me start by asking, because of the speed that you have to draw and Magma Studios, have you changed the order in which you create art? Like, do you change your process at all?
The way I'm doing mine today is starting off with like blocks of color and then adding detail later is an experiment that I'm doing today.
Oh.
Usually I do the lines first, but I don't know. I just wanted to try something different today. Depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd like to try that out sometime too, but I'm like a little too nervous.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
see how it goes.
I'm
If I do.
worried that I just completely mess it up. Not that that would be the end of the world, but yeah, I think for me, doing lines first is kind of a safety blanket because then I sort of have a pretty good idea of where it's going to wind up.
I mean, this is a fun and safe show to go ahead and do that kind of experimentation because, yeah, it's all just for fun anyway. So if you ever do want to try. But yeah, so are there any things that you have changed? We've been doing 26 episodes now. Are there any techniques or things that you've changed in order to adapt to, I need to craft something in an hour on the fly?
I think for me, like usually I spend a little more time on the sketch phase than I do in this show. Like for here, I'll like draw a sketch and change like a few things here and there that I don't like, but mostly I'll just kind of move on after that. As opposed to normally when I'm drawing, I'll like kind of, I don't know, try to balance things out a bit more and spend more little time getting the sketch just perfect before I do lines.
And is that similar for you, Michelle?
Yeah, I definitely spend way less time on the starting sketch, which sometimes isn't great because, yeah, I don't know. It's good to start off with like a really strong sketch, but sometimes you just don't have time to.
Yeah. Like if you sort of work out all the questions that you might have about the drawing before you start cleaning up, then you'll make less mistakes that are harder to fix later on when you've got like your solid lines down.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's kind of like those mistakes we just adjust as needed. But some of them will stay in there. Like if I'm looking at this right now, I think my owl's little ears are a little lopsided, but that's okay. It's just going to have lopsided ears today.
So how do you decide on the difference between a mistake and the classic happy little accident?
So happy little accidents are like nice looking mistakes. And
Yeah.
not all mistakes are nice looking.
Yeah. Like a happy accident is like, oh, hey, that looks cool. And a mistake is like, ooh, nobody sees that.
Yeah.
So more of a gut feeling, not an actual technical explanation, but more of a, no. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Also, I love in chat, we had a couple people who have gone ahead and taken a look at your Twitters. Raider ICG says, by the way, I snuck a peek at Alexis's artwork on Twitter and saw that she's a very good artist.
Thank you.
I mean, both of them are amazing artists, or else they wouldn't be here entertaining everybody while I prattle on at the chat, you know?
I gotta update all my stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
Out of date.
It's been a while.
That's always the way it goes, right? With either a resume or if you've got a website, it's like, all right, get everything set up and you put everything up and then you just forget about it for 5 or 6 years and then realize that, hey, I have to update that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I tend to go through phases too, where I'll update my social media a bunch for like 2 or 3 months, and then I'll be like, okay, that's good. I'm done now. See you in 2 years.
Duty.
Yeah. I found it easier if I stick with just one social media. I've
Yeah.
kind of gotten into the Twitter, this is my jam, this is what I enjoy, this is working for me, and I just kind of ignore the rest of them to my own peril. Although Luke is trying to get me into more TikToks, and I feel like that is a rabbit hole that once I go down, I will never recover from. Especially,
It's kind of addictive.
yeah, definitely. And the same kind of addictive that Twitter can be, and where because it's fast, because it's short little things, it's easy to scroll through. And then the next thing you know, it's been 3 hours.
Yeah.
Although we have a TikTok for Idle Champions, and I don't remember if we've got any sketching hour sketches on there. I know we've put some of the speed drawings up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We've been playing around with putting some of them up on TikTok as well. I know a couple of the pancake art that Lee has done has ended up on TikTok. Ooh, I'm trying to remember now if any of the pancake art that Lee has done that is of sketching our creatures has gone up on TikTok, because that's like 6 degrees of separation of TikTok. It's like, have you been on TikTok? No, but a thing I did was made into a pancake, and then the pancake ended up on TikTok.
It's so cool seeing those pancakes.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'd like to eat one day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully one day we can all be in the same place, and then Lee can make us pancakes. I was super lucky, and I got to experience Lee making pancakes live.
Oh, awesome.
It was a couple years ago at one of the D&D lives that was an actual live event. And yeah, it is as much fun to watch live as it is to watch on Griddle Champions. It's kind of the same fun experience. And then they do taste pretty good. They're pretty good pancakes. Nan Breadloaf has just come into chat and said, Trials of Mount Tiamat, a mini campaign to chase off the mother of madness in her creations. I mean, that'd be a way to win the fight against Tiamat, is to bring on Tiamat.
Yeah.
Oh, and Martin is saying Capybara Tarasques is on TikTok. So there you go. We do have one on TikTok.
I do like those ones.
Go check out here, I'm going to put our socials into chat, because I believe it includes the link to the TikTok. The TikTok. That makes me sound super old. Oh, Martin says Michelle's looks like an automation sketch. I'm almost expecting different angles with dimensions for blueprints. Ooh. Get like a cross section, like an interior.
Don't have time for that.
We need an extra hour. We need a whole extra hour. It's a sketching hour, and then it's the blueprint hour will be the next hour. Have either of you ever done any technical drawings?
Not since college, when we did I had some kind of 2D design class, and we had to do sort of blueprints for various different objects to learn how to do technical drawings. And I haven't used that skill since.
Yeah, I don't think I have, except some drafting in high school. Yeah.
I would imagine that's not a different skill, but it would be something that you would have to kind of lean into. I don't imagine a lot of people use that as I'm an artist, and then every once in a while I just do a technical spec for a tank.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe one of these days, one of you will have to do a technical spec for a Modron.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We've had to do maps. That's cartography. Maybe that's kind of like a different type of skill. Not really technical, though, I guess. But
I think it can be, especially if you're looking like the D&D maps that are in a lot of the adventures, either in our game or in a D&D book, those are not necessarily, I mean, realistic is the wrong word, but you know, 1 foot equals, you know, 1 inch equals 1 mile kind of specifications. So yeah, I guess if it was a really realistic style map, if it was the kind of thing in where you could use it to map out where you are in Faerun, then that would definitely count, because that is an exacting kind of thing. Although, yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, there's details in a map that I think I would imagine would be just as important in a regular drawing. Like, you know, what the two of you are doing right here, I'm sure thinking about dimensions and proportions and things are probably super important. And that's just as important in a technical drawing, you know, for a map.
Yeah.
Oh, and more questions have come in since I got distracted by maps. I agree with Coffina. There can never be too much B-Dave. B-Dave, if you'd like to ever come on the sketching hour, you are welcome. I will make you draw something, though. Canuck Monkey 13 says, I'm loving the different approaches this week. Alexis with more of the cut wood sanded smooth, and Michelle with more of a bark exterior wood. Very fun. Has it been harder to not look at what your fellow artist is doing this week because of also having cameras on, or do you find it easier to kind of focus in because there's more going on?
I haven't really noticed that we're on camera, to be honest.
That's
You
good,
kind
though.
of forget about it after a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good, though. That means,
sure.
yeah. That means that it's less nerve-wracking and more just fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mostly see Alexis's work like at the beginning in the sketch phase, because I'm like, oh, I wonder what ideas Alexis is coming up with, and I don't want to make it like the exact same either. So it's kind of.
Yeah, and I usually have the canvas zoomed out pretty far when I do my first sketch, and then I'll zoom in so I can see Michelle's like at the same time as I'm sketching mine.
Yeah.
that is very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that the cameras are not being an extra distraction. And yeah, I agree. Eventually, you kind of ignore it. I'm having a harder time ignoring the camera, but that's because I'm producing the stream. And so I have 3 different versions of all 3 of us up right now. So there is no place that I can't look that I'm not seeing one of us, but that's okay. That's half my job.
Is it kind of like a carnival fun house with like all the mirrors and stuff? It's like, which one's the real one?
A little bit, but not in like the grotesque way that it can be in a carnival, but because I am seeing people at different times, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like I've got our actual Zoom call, and then I've got OBS, and then I've got the Twitch stream, and each of those has a little different delay. So depending on where I'm looking at different points in time. And that's been a thing I've had to get used to. And so now it's just extra fun.
Kind of sounds like an origin story for a time traveler.
Except this is only backwards in time. The exciting thing would be if I had a screen and where I could see what was coming up and spoil myself for the future.
For that, we'd also have to be on like FaceTime or something on phones.
Also recording TikToks at the same time. I don't know why, but now we're also recording TikToks. Yes. Mest Duval says Lauren is a time traveler. Yes, but only back in time. Only into the past. Also, I've been told by Banana Mobster that the Fox Owlbears are also on TikTok.
Oh, yay.
Garwar has a fun question. Have you ever done a breakdown sheet for a character so cosplayers know what the different pieces are made out of?
No, never. That sounds like a fun project, though.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. That might also be something worth asking the content creators who make a bunch of the characters. They might have breakdowns, maybe not artistic breakdowns, but they might have actual cosplay breakdowns. as someone who has tried and failed to create a cosplay of her character, I can at least give you some breakdown on an Orkira cosplay, but eventually it gets to the point of go talk to someone who knows how to make cosplay armor and cosplay wings and a cosplay tail.
Mm-hmm. Well, out of all like the cosplays you could do, Orkira is not exactly the easiest. Become a dragon.
No, she wasn't easy when she began, and then when she got mutated and gained all of the extra parts, it got worse. And I was warned about that when we were picking our characters. That in fairness, I was warned by Todd of like, hey, if we ever are going to dress up as our characters at like a show or a convention, this is not going to be easy. And I'm like, I understand, but I got to pick a Dragonborn because Dragonborn are awesome. And I need to be happy for the rest of the year. And the 1 week out of the year that I'm going to be covered in gold paint will be the week I'm covered in gold paint. And that's just the way it is. And yes, all of my characters are characters that would be incredibly difficult to cosplay, but that's just what happens. JDog2773 wants to know about community D&D maybe next weekend. No community D&D, which, for those of you who are wondering, was a show that I've done a couple of times, specifically during the some of the Days of Streaming events that we've done, and where I run a D&D game for chat. The entirety of chat runs a character in a D&D game, and I play a one-on-one D&D game with them. There will not be a community D&D game next weekend, but there will be D&D. And that's all I'm going to say. There might be more than D&D. I don't know how much we can spoil about next weekend.
I think we should keep as much secret as possible.
Okay. Also, I just
To
realized...
find out.
I just realized the other fun of having the two of you on screen is those moments in where all three of us are just making faces at each other like, You can now all see the same thing when I'm just looking at Alexis being like, what do you think?
We're not just sitting there like our portraits.
Wait, hold on. I'll put the art overlay back up. Here we go. No, I like seeing your faces more. Okay. But those headshots are lovely, so. Okay. More questions have come on in. And then I would like the chat to, as I grab these final few questions that we've gotten from the chat, I would like chat to start to think about the classic question, how do you end up with wooden owl Modrons? And no, a wizard did not do it. And I'm going to go for medium hard mode. A druid didn't do it either. That's all right. I've preempted your druids have done it. The Lurking Writer wants to know, the casual Orkira cosplay you did was great. Oh, thank you. That was surprisingly comfortable. And I'm gonna take a second and figure out he barrack. Wait, people pick other than Dragonborn? I thought they were just given an ultimatum to play things like gnomes and humans and elves. Well, every D&D game is a little different with what lineages and races you're allowed to play. But yeah, I do tend to lean... I don't just tend. I absolutely lean into as far away from human as possible. How about you, Alexis? Are you a fan of a specific race when you're playing D&D?
I usually tend to pick the more humanoid races. Like I've got a couple humans, but I also have like an air genasi that I really liked. But I played a kobold recently, and that was probably the most fun I've had in a long time. So I don't know. That might be shifting my preferences a bit.
I mean, everybody loves kobolds. They're just some of the best. Michelle, how about you? Do you lean towards specific races when you're playing D&D?
I think I've mostly been an elf most of the time. Yeah, I like elves. I don't know, because they're humanoids, but they're like on another level.
Yeah, they are kind of extra humans.
Yeah.
And they're classic, too. They are, because they are kind of that, I almost said Tolkien-esque, but like they are one of the classic, humans, dwarves, elves. I think it's fun to lean into that kind of archetype. Oh, and everyone's talking about kobolds in chat. I have done my job. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna go back in time here and see what people have been saying about why you end up with wooden owl modrons. Well, Cassie's 335 says Geppetto got bored. Oh. Ooh. Also, Naki Arlini says, I love the legs on Michelle's Modron. Aw.
Thanks.
I do.
Oh, I love those too. So good.
Legs for days. Coffeena says, whittled them. I mean, that is appropriate. Whittle is out today, and Whittle is an artificer, or has been a wizard, the crafty person. So, yeah, maybe she helped create it. Although that then is technically a wizard did it. I see what you did there. I see what you did. Andromark says, these were dug up from the ancient past back before metallurgy was widespread. Yeah. Leaning into the clockwork aspect. Ravensclaw says, a carpenter did it. Okay. All right. Nan Breadloaf says, Primus took up whittling. Could Primus get bored? I don't know. I don't know if the god of automatons and law, I don't know if that is a being that is capable of boredom. But I do really like the idea of this being like, but what if we went with wood?
It is like a renewable resource, right? So maybe you ran out of metal.
That's also a terrifying thought of like the plane of law has run out of metal, and so we've gone to wood. That makes the Great Modron March take on a much more interesting significance, because now I think they're resource gathering. I now kind of want to create an entire D&D game around this whole idea.
Awesome.
Yeah. Balkan25 says a toy maker made them, and a magical cricket came along and gave them life. Everybody's into the Geppetto. I like it. I guess what will help our chat, we were joking about this earlier, but I will ask, what size are these creatures?
Do we have to fight them later?
Yeah.
No.
I'm imagining softball sized for mine.
Oh, real
Weird.
small.
Great minds think alike. I was thinking of softball too.
Throwable size.
Yeah.
So, like, pull their legs up and you could be like, all right, here you go. Do you need an owl? Here you go. All right. So, tiny. We've got tiny wooden owl modrons. Mm-hmm. Oh, Babylon Ranger 2261 has a suggestion for names. I'm fond of naming them for Michelle's. Oh, Tytok. So I'm going to go Titak and Strix. Yeah. I mean, those are really cool looking names. I'm just pretty sure I did not pronounce them correctly. Stricks. Strix. Not to be confused with Strix, one of our champions. And Titok. Tytok.
TikTok. That's cute.
I like it.
Yeah. Those are classic D&D names. Ones that look cool on paper, and then you go to say them and they don't want to come out of your mouth. Gordon. Sorry?
Oh, I always feel bad for my DMs when they try to read my character name for the first time. I'm just like, oh no, it's Jane, but it's spelled like completely different.
Are you that kind of player that's like, it's Jane, but it's JY''NINE?
Totally.
So, I'm the player that goes to fantasy name generator and I hit random. Ooh, that looks good. Let me just add an extra R in there, and there we go. Orkira. That's how I got Orkira. Michelle, do you have any preferred ways of naming your characters?
Yeah, I've just been making a character, and I thought of like the Greek word of a word that would describe the character. So the long name is Kalokieri for summer in Greek, but then I named her like Kalo for short,
Ooh.
like in quotations. So I guess everyone will call her Kalo, but her real name's Kalokieri.
Oh, I love that.
Beautiful name.
That is super cool. All right, and then I have to scroll past the fight between the kobolds and the dwarves. Okay, all right. Yep. Naughty Bear says a warforged and a dryad drunkenly challenge each other to make the best friend ever.
Aww.
All right, that's kind of adorable. And Star Chaser 43 has a origin of a pyromancer who will not be named, was working on a Modron face, but then decided to work on an owl, but the two concepts kept merging in their head, and we ended up with these.
Oh.
I do like how Michelle's, maybe it's just because of the owl face that you've gone with, is looking way more serious. Like, that's a softball owl I do not want thrown at my face.
Softball barn owl. I love barn owls so much.
Ooh, what is it about barn owls that draws you to them?
It's the movie Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
The 80s fantasy movie. Yeah, that's why I like them. One of my favorite movies back in the day.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm now wondering if there is enough versions of owls that we could do we can't do the episode anymore because we just had owl come up today, but like with the cats, coming up with enough versions of cats and bats. Like, I wonder if I could come up with enough versions of owl to make a sketching owl. It's a sketching owl.
Sketching owl.
Well, that's what these are called. They're called sketching owls. There we go. We've come up with the name of the show. Sorry, chat. I appreciate you all, but they're sketching owls. That's what we're calling them. And there's suddenly a bunch more questions. JS in the asks, do all artists lean to the right when they draw? Are you both leaning to the right? Have I never noticed this?
I don't know. I kind of lean this way.
I'm leaning to the right.
Okay.
Me too.
Because my Centika's on that side, though. I think that's the only reason.
Yeah. Well, you're left-handed too, Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like leaning around to look behind my hand, I guess. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I do wonder if we had an artist on here who wasn't left-handed, if we would get an alternating lean.
Maybe.
We will have to science this out.
Mm-hmm. Have to get another guest artist.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to have Ivy, but
Yeah.
I missed when we weren't a full crew, but guest artists are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a scientific reason. It's not just because we like having other artists on and joining us. It's also because we need to see which way do they lean.
Yep.
For science.
Mm-hmm.
I've altered my streaming setup every once in a while, and I've had the microphone on the left sometimes and sometimes on the right, and I do have to readjust because I've had it on the right for a while now, and I do find myself leaning in that direction when I am on stream so that I am close to the mic, because this is a microphone that needs me to get close. And then every once in a while, if I change the setup for any reason, I am leaning in the wrong direction, and I have to get used to leaning in the other direction.
It's probably good for like your back and like skeleton to sort of switch up.
We were just in a Star Trek episode for a moment there. It's just like that someone attacked the SS sketching hour. It's just like,
Fun with video feeds.
Hey, this is a first for us as a group, as the sketching hour. We haven't had a chance to do this. It's been 25 episodes. So now
Yeah, we gotta have some fun.
Exactly, episode 26. We want the two of you to come back and be heads in boxes like me and not just drawn heads in boxes. So the more fun we can have. Let me grab a couple more suggestions from chat. The Lurking Writer says, can they be called owl drones of the sketching wood?
It's a very regal name.
Yeah, regal, or I was thinking like, it's a good name for a children's book. But not like a ridiculous children's book, like one of those old school, like fancy watercolor drawing children's books that you have to read in a British accent. The owl drones of the sketching wood. Canuck Monkey 13 says these Modrons were born / spawned / created on a border between Mechanus and Elysium, drawing characteristics from both planes. Ooh. That's our multi-planar adventure right there. That's Mechanus and whoever's in charge of Elysium. I don't know. I do not know lore-wise who's in charge of Elysium, but the two of them decided to hang out one day.
Met for tea.
Yeah. Always want to hang out for tea and then create mashups of characters. All right. Sorry, I was just seeing something from chat that reminded me that one of the things that we can do while we're hanging out here having fun is also naming these creatures. I know we had a couple of names come on in. We're calling them as a group sketching owls. I'm calling dibs on that. But individually, Michelle, have you been thinking about a name for your creature?
No.
All right. Well, we'll get suggestions from chat for you, and you can kind of decide on one. Alexis, how about you?
I haven't either, so yeah. I think we need chat to help.
All right, chat. What would you like to name these creatures? And yes, Andrew Merck makes a very good point, which is Hoot is already in the game. Hoot has already been taken. Lurking Writer says Twig and Twode. Coffeena has a Barney and Ollie. Mess Duval says Nutty and Owly.
Oh, I like Barney. That's cute.
Aw.
Barney.
We also have Endromerk with Berry and Lemon, which I like a lot. Cyrus Black says Flit and Tumbler. Ooh.
Aww.
Yeah, I like those.
Me too.
And then Canuck Monkey has a name here that I think I have to read in a British accent, which is Wol Nordrum Tikkanen III.
Ooh.
If you would also like your sketching owls to be in a children's book read by a British person. Naka Arali says Chestnut and Acorn. We have Baza and Woza from Daza. Okay, all right. Ocean111 says Malachi and Barnabas.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh, I like those. Elam Entel says Ghost and Gaze. Critter Wolf says Oak and Maple. A lot of people are coming up with some really good names. Have anything struck either of you?
Mainly Barney for me, just because he's a barn owl.
Good one.
But there are lots of good ones. I know.
Yeah. Well, let me keep throwing some at you. Real Raynor says Reginald von Bartlesby. I mean, so if you would like Barney to be the short of Reginald von Bartlesby. Let's see. Quietly says Wit and Woo.
I like those. Those are cute.
Yeah, Wit and Woo are really cute as well. It's also fun to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wit Woo.
Wit and Woo. That definitely sounds like a pair that could end up in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Yeah. And they tell you riddles.
I'm really bad at riddles.
Me too.
Same.
I'm bad at coming up with them. I'm bad at solving them. I'm not good at it at all. Every time a riddle comes up in a D&D game, I'm like, I'm just gonna sit.
Yeah. Can I roll an intelligence check? Because me, the player, just cannot.
Yeah. It's like, can I just lean into my stats? My character is way smarter than me, I swear. Oh, jeez, there's so many names. We've got Real Rainer says Troy and a bed. A lot of people are saying they like Bartlesby.
Bartlesby?
Yeah. We've also got Fluff and Flit, Bartleby and James from Alias Buck.
I'm down with that.
I do kind of like, I mean, we're getting a little bit away from the Barney. I mean, maybe Barney and James. Maybe these are not fanciful. These are fanciful creatures. Maybe they have very simple names. Just Barney and James.
Yeah, whoever created them was like Barney and James.
Yeah. I kind of like that. I had a character named Clyde once. Not every name needs to be fanciful and frilly and filled with apostrophes. TTRP Gifts is in chat and says Garwood and Walnut. Oh, and we've got Pancakes 337 in our chat as well, checking out art that possibly, maybe, we don't know, might show up on the Friday show Griddle Champions. We'll have to see.
Ooh.
Oh, and then Garwar coming in with his own suggestion for fir and maple.
Oh, I like tree names.
Yeah. Kiwi Mischief wants to know, will these become actual familiars in the game as some others have? No clue. At the moment, we are just enjoying crafting creatures for funsies. But, it happened once. Who knows if it'll happen again?
Possibly, maybe.
I also like the idea of these becoming familiars because now we know they're softball sized. And previous chats have noticed that our familiars are getting larger. So this would be an attempt at the opposite direction, baby Tiamat, which is huge and massive and adorable, and then this tiny little owl, tiny.
Yeah, baby Tiamat was a struggle to fit all those heads into a familiar size.
Does that become a positioning thing, and where you're like, okay, I have to stack them in a certain way, or is that, are there artistic things you can do to fake it?
I had to fake it a little bit. So to fit them all in, you kind of want to have like 2 in the background, 1 in the middle, and then 2 in the front. But then you have to angle them in a way that like you'll be able to see the ones in the back, which would mean that the ones in the front would have shorter necks than the ones in the back. But the magic of art makes it fit.
It's a matter of perspective at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If it looks correct from the angle that we're looking at, then, technically it's shorter, but we understand perspective.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the reason that you never want Orkira in the front of your formation, because she just covers everybody up.
Yeah, like a shield.
Yeah. Those moments every once in a while where we're trying to get ready for a weekend promo and line all of the champions up, and it's like, oh no, wait, Orkira can't be in the middle of this lineup. We need to move her to the back. Oh wait, Grama. Oh no, we gotta put you over there. We're just gonna end up with that with familiars. It's like, all right, here's Tiamat, here's baby Tiamat, and then her tiny owl. I mean, there is an owl familiar, so I guess we could do that right now. Rav Bunny says, my dream familiar is a pocket-sized Tarask.
Aww.
What is it about small versions of big creatures that people find adorable?
Little baby version.
Yeah. It's because it's a baby. So cute. Yeah, like Michelle said. That means it's a baby.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's a small version, it's that it's a baby version.
Mm-hmm. Plus, like,
Maybe.
good things come in small packages. I was going to say cute things come in small packages, and I was like, that's not the saying.
No. Nope. Although not untrue.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah, Boo is cute and is a what Rav says in chat is a small sized space hamster. I believe technically Boo is a miniature giant space hamster.
Mhm.
So, but we don't know how old Boo is. For all we know, Boo might be a baby. Actually, we probably do know how old Boo is. That's one of those things that's probably available in lore.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to watch on Monday on the next Idle Champions Presents The Trials of Mount Tiamat and see Minsk and Boo and see whether they'll talk about how old Boo is in game, because you never know. How old are both of these wooden owl Modrons?
452.
Oh, this is old. I was thinking in the 300 range. 333.
I love how both of you went for triple digits. That's amazing. Well, with that age range of wooden owl Modrons now being ancient creatures of lore in small packages, unfortunately, we have to come to an end on the sketching hour. Our first episode where all three of us are on camera. Yay!
Yay.
So, how'd it feel? How was it?
I think it was pretty good.
Chat?
Now we just need to get all of chat with face cameras.
There you go.
Yeah, so
Next
I can
week.
see all of you.
Yeah.
Next week, everybody face cams in chat. I want to see all of your beautiful faces. If we want to find out more about some of the amazing art that you're doing, Alexis, where can we find more of your amazing art?
I'm on Twitter at Alexis Theroux and on Instagram at alexis.theroux.
And Michelle, same question. Where can we find more of your amazing art?
On Instagram at Michelle Papadopoulos or Twitter at Art of Michelle, but I update Instagram a bit more.
Good to know. And you will not find any amazing art on my stream unless I'm retweeting it from, say, one of these two artists. But you'll eventually find some oboe and some D&D stuff and snacks. That's pretty much what's on there. We will be posting the final versions of these adorable pieces of art on the Discord channel. If you come to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, you can come to the Sketching Hour channel, see all of our previous art, chat about your own art. If you've made your own versions of any of the creatures that we have done, then definitely come by there. You can also chat about the game and get help with the game. Thank you so much to the both of you. Thank you to our moderator, Martin, who has been awesome in chat. Thank you to David. He knows why. But thank you. Thank you for doing stuff on the back end. And with that, we will see you next encounter. Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks for
everyone.
coming.
Bye.
Bye.